Hey there guys, William Shat here, and I was thinking I'd make a video for a couple of my fleet members. I was on last night and one individual was talking about he was starting a science character, and he wanted to know how to do a science build. In fact, this player was all new to the game, so I'm going to kind of go over a science build for someone who is very new to the game. This is a science build for level 50, but it applies downward so that it gives you an idea of the direction that you want to go. And we'll kind of start right from the beginning here, right down here in this area. I guess first we'll start with our power systems. For most science builds anymore, it used to be anyway, that some science builds would do healing. It doesn't happen as much anymore in this game. Pretty much, it's always a race to DPS, basically. Who can DPS the fastest, basically now. The way I have my power systems configured is I have most of my power in auxiliary and a limited amount in weapons, and just enough in shields to where I'm not, losing them. A lot of times people will set their shields to full, or set their weapons to full, basically creating this effect where you have your weapons all the way up. I don't do that because I'm doing exotic damage, or exotic damage comes from your auxiliary power. So I set that up to around 85, probably a little higher, 90 maybe even. And then with the bonus, it'll top off at 117. And then what you want to do is, and here's how you get to this. There's all these different views. There's this view, this view. I prefer number 3, and I would recommend everyone set theirs to 3. That way you have the ability to lock in your power setting, so then you can slide the rest around and get them exactly where you want them. So I put my weapon power at 50, as in fact, not only am I doing exotic damage, this is a torpedo build as well for exotic damage. And there's all sorts of different ways you can do this stuff. So, this is just one way to build a science ship. So this isn't the end-all be-all of all the science ships, but God, no, it isn't. This isn't even my main. I usually run an engineer, so. But this is just the view of what you could do. So we'll lock that into place, and then I want my shields to be a little bit higher too. So I don't think I can't go above 45. So my engines are pretty low. Actually, I kind of want that to be at 20, so let's unlock that. Take that down to 85. Eventually I gotta find some more power somewhere. My gear isn't exactly where I'd like it to be, but it is what it is. And then going into the ship, like I said, the gear isn't the greatest, so, and some of this probably isn't optimized to the best it could be. I got the RCS because this is a slow turning ship. We go forward a little bit. Even with the RCS, I'm only getting 10 degrees per second. That's pretty bad. So, fleet version would definitely be better. You get that up to 42% on one of those consoles. Maybe even get another one. But, yeah, basically, consoles are up to you. You build it how you want to build it. I probably shouldn't be using fuel generators. I should probably have more particle generators. I also use plasma projectile weapon damage amplifiers, because I am using the Romulan hyper plasma torpedo launcher and the Omega plasma torpedo launcher. And it works out pretty well. And I'll show you exactly how that works in a few minutes here. I ended up picking up the Undying Counter Command space set. for not one, a lot of reasons in particular. If we look at the specs on just the deflector alone, we get the +5 accuracy, which helps out with the torpedoes and the beams. And we have improves kinetic damage by 17% or 17 points. That was huge for this build because I am doing a torpedo build here. Improves hit points, so that's nice. Gives me more survivability. Improves shield hit points. That's always a plus. Resists hold, disable, knock, repel, and slow. That's always a plus. And then the last one there, improves exotic damage 26. So that was definitely a plus. And then the 15% chance set recharge time to 70% of normal recharge time. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I think it might have to do with your bridge officer abilities, or it could be something else. I'm not exactly sure. So we get engine power. We get the engines, +5 inertia, +5 defense. The 5 defense is always nice. Let's see, nothing too special there. Counters the negative effect of friction in fluidic space. I don't notice it when I'm in any of those missions. Warp core, 5.5 additional engine power, 5 max engine power. Not a huge thing for me. Add 7.5 engine power to weapon power as bonus. 33% engine power drain. Resistance counters the debuffs on starship movement, fluidic space. +15 engine power setting. So that helps out when I have my... The nice thing there is that it helps out with my low engine setting to begin with. So it's not horribly low. And the shields do an amazing job here. 10,334. One thing for any new players that you got to understand about how shields work. If I were to link this to you in chat and you're on your ship, it might say a completely different amount because it's based on what your shield modifier is for your shield. So the base of this is probably something around, I don't know, 8,000 or 9,000 or something like that. And my shield modifier on this ship is like 1.1 or 1.2, so it adds extra shield for me. Have the kinetic cutting beam, omnidirectional beam, and just a biomolecular phaser turret to pick up, to just fire forward, because this is a forward-facing firing ship. Actually, let's go back real quick and look at the info. This is like a 4-piece set, so you also get a nice bit of bonuses. +12 anti-proton damage bonus, resist rating. +5 defense, so that's always good. Biomolecular fluidic space counterblast. So 3 kilometer sphere does 3,200 radiation damage. Anytime you see something like this, radiation damage, for instance, that adds into, or that's added into with your auxiliary power, or your auxiliary power adds more damage to that. So, like, say for instance, say it says 3,200 right there. If I were to lower that, drop that down. You can see it's going down 339. Actually, if I reset that, it might even be lower. Yeah, 113. So your auxiliary power affects that ability too. So everything that adds some sort of exotic damage, and that's what exotic damage is the stuff that is outside of that realm. It's a good thing. So, also, what else do we have here? Also, with the force set bonus, we have a biomolecular reactive shielding. Absorbs 12,474 points of damage. This is like another shield heal or shield buff. It's great. And even as soon as it goes down, if they're firing on you, after it goes down, it explodes and does 1,198 radiation damage to up to 10 enemies within a 5 kilometer radius. that's huge for you. The shield heal alone, or the shield extra shield ability, is nice all by itself. Plus, it does a little bit of knockback there too. So, again, that a lot of the damage here is affected by exotic damage and your knock damage. And then we also get the plus 3% accuracy. So there's a lot of accuracy added here. A lot of people run this as a tactical space set. I looked at it, I was like, wow, this has got a lot of stuff that I like, and a lot of stuff in here works for the build that I did, and that's all that matters. You do what you want to do to have fun. There's 100 different ways to build a ship. I'm just trying to show you one that maybe you might like, and that might work for you. Now in my skills, as you can see here, I did some weapons training. Improves my starship weapon damage. And I'm not going to go over everything. I'm just going to touch the main things that I did. I added a lot of points to projectile weapons because this is like a projectile boat or torpedo boat. So I added points there, and I also added points to increase my critical projectile weapons. Maneuvering, that increases your defense against other people trying to shoot you, so they'll miss more, and then this increases your accuracy. And then all the engineering stuff, so a lot of this stuff is just structural integrity, survivability, increase to power systems. Definitely wanted to upgrade my auxiliary, so I had more points going towards that. And then the big one, science, is a big deal for you. Your graviton generators, depending on what you're doing, you may or may not want to put any points into it. I had thought about down the road doing a repulsor beam, but I am using photonic shockwave, which is nice. And I do a lot of other things with knock and repel, and that with the Undyne space set as well. And then the other big thing that I wanted to put points into was the particle generators, because I run grav wells on this ship, and that's where a lot of my extra damage comes from. So pretty basic. Whenever I'm in space, I try and run all my space traits. If you want to look at some of this stuff, my space rep, plus 22 kinetic, damage resist and energy resist, maximum hit points, maximum shield, and that is based off of my auxiliary power. So the more aux that I have, the more I'm getting there. So you're maximizing there as well. In front of you, they're not aware of what this stuff is. This is stuff that comes from reputation. So if you get all your things tiered out to tier 5, you can add these extra traits to your ship, and it'll boost you up some more. Another aux setting, plus 5 all damage, plus 5 accuracy based on my auxiliary. So everything's a lot of my stuff is revolving around accuracy, and basically what you're just trying to do is create that synergy, and that's what you want to do when you're building a ship. You want to focus on that synergy. Plus 4 crit hit for precision, and plus 10 all damage bonus resistant rating. Because you are a slow moving barge, you need to have a decent amount of protection and be able to resist a lot of damage coming your way, because they'll see you, and you're just a big floating barn. So my stations, real quick, I have 2 tactical teams. I know some people will say, oh no, you should run something for your torpedoes. Here, and I'm going to show you exactly why I don't need it, because of the way that I have this set up, and I think it works fine for me. Tac teams are nice because it increases your weapon damage, increases your particle weapon damage, and then it also redistributes your shield facings that's receiving the most damage. So if your shield facing on the rear is totally down, it'll convert all your energy from your other shields to block that up, so you're not going to get blown up. And with 2 of them, I can almost have them an uptime all the time, basically. And Emergency power to shields, just to keep myself safe. Engineering team to do a little heals, to make sure I don't blow up. And auxiliary power to structural integrity. This one's nice because it has a very low cooldown. It does a pretty decent sized heal. Adds resist rating for 10 seconds. And the recharge on it's 15 seconds, so I'm not waiting very long for another heal to come back. I'll tell you this, I run auxiliary power to structural integrity on almost all my ships. It's a must for me. It makes a huge difference. Then we got shield strength, transfer shield strength. You can either target yourself or a friend. This will help regenerate your shield over time. I'm always clicking that whenever I'm below 50% at least. Another shield heal, science team. Also remove science debuffs. And then we go into the grav wells. I have 2 of them. Grav well 1 and grav well 3. The one thing you got to remember about these, they share a cooldown with each other. When you hit this one, let's say grav well 3, it shares a half cooldown with the other. So let's say it takes 30 seconds. This one's going to be on cooldown for 30 seconds, and this one's going to be on cooldown for 15 seconds. It feels kind of gimpy, but it comes in handy when you don't have that third one up. I always try and run the Gravwell 3 if I can. I just run the Gravwell 1 if I'm in a pinch and I need to use it. This one, Tractor Beam, I should probably change that out. I kind of want to do something different there. It's not that useful in PvE, which is what most of this game has turned into. So actually I might change that down the road, so we'll see. Hazard emitters is a must, I think, on pretty much everyone's ship. 16,000 heal over 15 seconds. Continuously removes hazard debuffs. And plus 28.7 all damage resist rating for 15 seconds. The big thing about this is the heals and then the removing debuffs. So if your ship's on fire, let's say, and you're ticking off dots of points, this thing will get rid of it. It's huge. And then the Photonic Shockwave. 3,088 kinetic damage. This is pretty nice when you knock these, when you run this here. It'll knock away enemies that are too close to you. It's also good for when you're flying right in after you've dropped a grav well to run that Photonic Shockwave on them. Because you got them all bunched up in a group, and then you'll hit them, and then if you're able to blow up one really quick, you get that warp core going, and then that warp core goes, and it ends up cascading effect into all the other ships and blows up all the other ones as well. And that's the same thing I'm going for with the torpedo build that I have, with the grav wells and the constant AoE of them blowing up on ships. Makes a big difference there as well. So let's see, I was on a patrol mission. Let's see if there's any bad guys in here anymore. I don't know. See if we have anything to kill. This way you can check out how this thing performs and how you would want to try and fly it. Oh, looks like we do have some. Okay, so I sat in there a little too long and there weren't too many bad guys, so I want you guys to have a look at some a good fight here. So as you can see, we have quite a few guys clustered around here. So right as those are about to hit, I might throw a grav well. It'll pull that other ship in. Oh, he's resisting hard. See, now when those hit there, it's also going to be doing damage to the other guy. So that's part of the point of this build. There's many other torpedoes you can use that will work in tandem with this. Okay, so here's some more guys coming in. Let's kill them now. So pull them all in. See, now it's hitting all of them. We do our other abilities. Knock him around like that. And as you can see, I got 2 torpedoes, and actually, now watch how I do this now. I want you to see how I'm actually running this, because they share cooldown. Oh, well, they don't actually share cooldown. This particular one doesn't. But if you watch the cooldown, so that fires, and then I'm going to launch that. I'm doing this one manually. You can bring out some photonic shock or some photonic fleet here. And as you can see, I can get a couple of these torpedoes off. Well, the nice thing about these torpedoes too is if you kill something before those torpedoes hit them, they'll start chasing down other enemies for you. Until they fade out. So much. There they go. You're gonna get me from behind, huh? Got my shields are going down. I'm start healing myself. Knock them out of the way. Now this ship's going to take damage from that warp core going off. That's the nice thing about those gravity wells. And my other plasma, see, they chased down that other ship there. So that's basically how I run my science build. It's probably not for everyone. Works for me. I kind of like the way it goes. I like the way it works. The tough part about this particular build, and I'm probably hurting myself a little bit, is just my turn rate and how much time it takes for me to spin around and get facing the right way, because I'm always trying to face forward. This is a very forward-facing centric build. It's just one idea for what you could do for a science build. So, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you liked it, go ahead and click like below. If you like my other videos and you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. And thank you all for watching.